Time and time again, I get asked, will you sell the black car? Will you sell the stalkervert? How much? Will you let it go? No. The issue is the fact that it's so damn low to the ground, 22 1/8, that you really need to know what you're doing when you're driving this car around. So you need to be constantly looking at the road. You need to be watching what the axle in the vehicle in front of you is doing. Is it hitting bumps? Ooh. I drive this car around with a spare set of 2x4s. They're sitting on the floorboard right in there, just in case I run into an unknown situation that I might need some additional clearance. Let's just set the context up front, because I know there's some people that are watching right now that are probably like, why the fuck would you do that to your car? That's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. Well, some of us chase horsepower numbers. Some of us chase quarter-mile times. Some of us want 60 to 100 rolls down the tollway. And we all have our different passions. We just happen to maybe like the similar body or the platform that is supporting that passion. And the Foxbody is an amazing platform. Whether you want a stance car, a drift car, a drag car, a street car, a classic car, a cruising car, or whatever car, Foxbody can be it. It can serve all of those different areas. And this one specifically has been one of suspension iterations time and time again over the years. And guys, I've had this car for a long time. It's been in and out of my life since the early 2000s. I've bought it back. I've driven it across the country. I've done tons of stuff. I met my best friend through buying this car, and it definitely did not always look like this. So it is an 87 GT convertible that has been completely transformed to 93, pretty much everything from the black interior to the airbag steering wheel to the actual convertible top that goes down 6 inches lower than the 90 and older Fox bodies did. The only thing that is true to the car is all the body panels, including the fenders. So the front fenders are not the 93, right? I got technically the smaller wheel clearance. And when you're this low to the ground, that extra wheel clearance doesn't matter, because your largest part of diameter is actually in a position that's the same width as a 91. So if the car was up higher in that lower section, some of you guys will know what I'm talking about, some of you won't, and that's fine. But just to give you guys an idea, we'll be going over exactly how low this car is. So for any of you that want more detail, or maybe want to ask more questions specific to lowness, suspension, wheel and tire, all that stuff that pertains to sort of my Foxbody expertise, by all means, you guys can join the members area of the channel. I do a lot of member-only lives, trying to even do more at this point. So it's a great forum and opportunity for you guys to ask questions and get answers real time, instead of trying to get back and forth through the comments and everything else. So make sure you check that out. If you're interested in merch, check that out as well. But we're gonna get into this car, why you don't wanna own it, what it takes to take it out for a normal drive, because I haven't done that in probably about 2 months' time. In fact, I haven't really done a full-blown drive since I've done the full QA1 suspension on the car. So with that said, let's hit the intro and we'll get right into it. So many people ask me, is that black convertible for sale? Will you sell the stalkervert? How much will it take? And I pretty much shut them down every single time. And my response typically is, you don't want to own this car. You know, it looks mean, it sounds mean, it's just mean in general. It's mean to drive, it's mean to experience. It's one of those cars that you need to be ready to really feel and guide and drive. There's so many things that are going on when you drive this car, and it's not because it's got a shit ton of power, and it's not because you're scared you're gonna scratch up the paint. It's because you need to be aware of how damn low this car actually is to know what you're doing when you're driving down the road. And one of my passions is being low to the ground and still being able to drive. Now, I'm not your completely stanced out, massive negative camber, JDM style kind of guy. I want to be low down to the ground. I want to have a set of big wheels on the car, and I just enjoy it. So if you don't enjoy it or you don't like it, you don't need to watch the video. I really don't give a shit. But if you're interested to see what it takes to drive a car like this on the road, well, this is the video. I've revamped the whole suspension, so QA1, front K-member, control arms, coilovers, caster camber plates. The whole rear is done with their coilover setup, upper and lower control arms, sway bars, front and rear, like anything that you can buy from QA1 from a suspension perspective has been done to this car. And if you're interested in seeing exactly how that went down, and more importantly, how did I manage to make QA1 stuff be a low to the ground solution and not necessarily a race car solution? Well, I got a couple videos on that, and you guys can check them out. And the one interesting thing about this car is that I know there's a lot of low cars that are rolling around on Instagram or on YouTube and all that other stuff, but I feel like the camera never does this car justice. Like, once you see this car in person and you just walk up to it, at that point, you're like, oh, my Fox sits like a 4x4. And even like the silver notch that's sitting over there, and I'll sort of show it to you. And guys, this is the reality. I say this when you have too many cars, tires, batteries, fuel, these are all challenges that we deal with. And I'm going to get into some of the reasons why you don't want to own this car. And it's not just because it's ridiculously low and a pain to drive. It's just that it's loaded with imperfections. This has been my work in progress since like 2003. And after buying the car back a number of times and going back and forth, well, you know what I mean? This is a forever and ongoing project. But if you can see how low, we're going to put some air in that tire, the rear of this car is. Right? Like the front in a Fox is honestly pretty easy to get low. Like a lot of guys, they want to see the tire at the edge of the fender well. Well, this one, the wheels are at the edge of the fender well. And in fact, this car is so low, this car sits lower than the silver Detch that's on Air Ride. And it's not just any Air Ride. It's the old school Ride Tech, the bags, the ones that went the lowest that you could go. And I've even modified the rear of this whole setup so that I could get this car down to the ground even lower. If you don't believe me, I'll bust out the measuring tape. Who doesn't like to bust out a measuring tape being a dude? You know, there's always something to prove. So we'll start with the front first. So what are we here? Somewhere in between like 5/8, 22 and 5/8 in the front, 22 and 7/8 in the rear, 22 and an 1/8. Now, know what you're thinking. Oh, the rear tires are flat. You know, you're going to get a fake or a false measurement. So let me go ahead. I'll bust out the air compressor and let's get some air in the rear tires before we do that last measurement. That is 22, and it's actually just a hair underneath 3/4. So it's actually kind of bordering on the, it's a 1/16, guys, in between 5/8 and 3/4. Just in case you were wondering, oh, did it raise the car up in the front as a result? And your answer is no. In fact, this side is sitting right around 22 1/16. So by the time, you know, my fat ass is in the driver's seat, it probably goes down that extra 1/16 of an inch on the driver's side, and the car is sitting level when all the weight's in it. Very important thing to note. Not only did I just prove that the Stalker Vert is sitting lower statically than the silver notch is aired out, well, the main difference here, I can't drive the silver notch aired out. Like, the car will roll forwards and backwards, because obviously you want that. If something catastrophic happens, you lose air, pressure in a bag, or something happens, you want to be able to roll. And this car will do that, but there's no give in the suspension left to be able to allow you to drive at any level of comfort. Now, another thing that you guys might be wondering is, well, are the wheel sizes the same on both cars? Because wheel sizes do make a huge difference. And well, they are. Both cars have 18s. Both cars are pretty damn close in terms of tire profile and everything else. And in case you guys are wondering what's on this car, it's a 285/30 in the rear. And I think I have 225 something, because, you know, you need to be able to turn if you have an aggressive offset. Yeah, 225/40 in the front, 285/30 in the rear. So I'm not going to get into the offsets and talk about all that with you guys, because when you get down to this type of altitude, so many things matter. How far your quarter wells are rolled, because some people roll them more aggressively than others. Have you pulled? What have you done with your front fenders? Mine have actually kind of been pulled and stretched, so on and so forth. Every millimeter matters. Now that I've done a very high level discussion on kind of the suspension and how low the car is, like I said, there's lots of videos on this. I could talk about this shit all day, but that's not the point of this video. I want to get this thing out and drive. I did do a 30-pound injector swap not that long ago, and this car ran on 24-pound injectors for the longest time. Nothing fancy, okay? 306, 3-bar GT40 heads, 1.6 roller rockers, E303 cam, GT40 intakes, Vortec S trim, the old school noisy one. So yes, it sounds mean, makes all the noises that you want it to make, full exhaust, old school Flowmaster 3 chambers. So the car sounds good, the car looks good. Now, what do we got to do to get this thing running? Well, good question. Chances are the battery is probably dead. We've already aired up the tires that were flat in the rear, and God knows why that's going on. Whether I drove over a nail or there's a valve stem leaking or whatever it might be, I really don't know. We'll get rid of the items that are inside the car, like my car cover that I'm not even using. And here's some CSA Prime center caps. There's the first round of 30-pound injectors that I tried that, amazingly enough, they're red tops. You would think they're 30-pounders. They did not jive with my 30-pound MAF that I had. So I used a different set of 30-pound injectors, and everything ran fine. So if anybody's interested in those, you can have them. You can try your luck. You can tune around them and make them work if you want. They all squirt. They all do the things. I took the path of least resistance. If I bolt it in and it doesn't work and I can swap another set in faster than trying to fuck around with tuning and all that stuff, then that's what I'm going to do. What else? A different oil separator in here. I do want to hook this guy up at some point. Sure, I'm not the only one that kind of leaves their future mods inside the car. I got to install these, all right? Classic Foxbody stuff. Well, the battery's not completely dead because the courtesy lights are on. And yes, 87 GTs, in most cases, had courtesy lights underneath the dash. So if you guys have an 87 and you don't see lights underneath when your doors open up, take a look. You'll probably see the sockets there and you just need to stick a bulb in. All right, guys. So I give Daniel Carpenter a lot of grief. I really do. However, there are products that work just fine. These guys being one of them. If you really want to get wild, there's my exhaust clearance. That exhaust is tucked up as high as you could possibly get it. Sway bar mounts, you can actually see some grass there that I've caught. But those are my lowest points on the car. We'll see if the car will start. It does pretty good about not really draining the battery down. And it's probably been 2 months since the last time I started the car up. A couple other reasons why you don't want to own this car. Fuel gauge doesn't work. There's no door handles. There's no locks. There's no antenna. Hell, there's not even a fuel door in the back. You see all that shit is gone. The fuel goes in here. And as mentioned, fuel gauge does not work, and I have no idea how much fuel's in the car right now. Another reason why you don't want to own the car, there's no tensioner pulley. All that's been deleted. I use my power steering pump as a tensioner for the main drive. And the pump is actually, it's got issues. It works and then it stops working. So I actually need to replace that pump at some point. No air, no heat. Kind of a stupid move when I was younger, but I just kind of wanted the whole less is more approach, because this is not a shaved engine bay. This is just a poor man's wire tuck. And pretty neat. MSD Blaster 2 coil. That was one of the first mods that I had ever bought. I probably bought that specific coil when I was 17 years old. And it's still rocking around in a car to this day. I got to move these wheels out of the way, move the yellow car. We'll get some 2x4s down, see if the car starts, try and get it out of the garage here. You can see all of the lowered car isms that have hit the garage lip there. But yeah, let's get this going. Hey, you see I got a couple boards down here. Hopefully one or both of the tires catch them as required. No code to the rescue. All right, the car's a little angry because it's cold. It has no EGR, thermactors, like anything that you would think your Fox body needs to run, it does not have. And it will level out. Car, it doesn't stall when you come up to stop signs or stoplights or anything like that. It does everything that it's supposed to. No tune. Guys, factory A9L in this thing, and it does just fine. I'm gonna bring a couple boards with me just because, guys, you never know. If I pull up to a bump or I get somewhere that I need some additional clearance, well, the 2x4s, hopefully, will give me what I need. In case you guys are wondering, hey, does the car rub? Yeah, it rubs. Of course it does. When you're trying to get that look and feel, and you're living that low life, well, low life results in rubbing. So I have road tested the car. Like, I've gone around my area here, which is very rural. I know the roads very well. So everything is good from that perspective. If you guys are gonna ask me like how the overall ride quality is, you know, I've said it in the other videos, it's okay considering. Like, the suspension wasn't designed to do what I have it doing, but it works. And you know, at speed, I'm cruising 45, 50 mile an hour right now on an old country back road, and everything is all right. So first stop's going to be the gas station, and then I'm going to try and make it out to my commercial shop. You can see I'm bouncing around a little bit and all that good stuff on these roads, but how much travel and everything else I have, I don't hear any banging like I'm bottoming out. So just goes to show, you know, there's stuff that they'll say, oh, that's impossible, you can't do that, so on and so forth. And then there's, well, the reality. Sometimes you just got to get it on the road. You got to prove things. So see, exhaust scraping over high arches in the road. So anyways, I got to make turns here, so I need both hands. So that's the other thing, in case you guys are wondering, you can still have fun with a slammed out car. It's 285s, those Contis grip really well. There is a big bump here. So this is very deceiving. You wouldn't think that's a big bump, but this guy right here, I'm sure you guys heard that. Oh. Another reason why you don't want this car, the driver's side seat, the mounting in the front has a tear, so I actually need to weld that back up. So the seat's got a little bit of a lean off the front left bolt. Made it to the gas station. Good thing we got fuel, guys, because I think that could have been a run out of fuel type of situation if I hadn't have stopped. But here we are. Got to be careful on this guy on the exit for sure. We're doing pretty good here. We'll do the, I don't know, 8-mile journey to the commercial shop from here, give or take, and see how the car does. One thing's making me a little nervous here, although the car's driving great, is the parking brake light is on. And the parking brake light means two things. The first thing means your parking brake is on, which it's not. The second thing means you're low in brake fluid, which if something's low or wheels rubbing the brake line or whatever it could be, that is a possibility. So when I get to a safe place to pull over, which is actually in a little while, but with that said, I don't really need to use the brakes where I'm at. You can see we're in open country roads here. So when I get to, and the brake pedal actually feels good, so I'm not too worried about it. Could be a gremlin. I told you guys, put the clutch in, car never stalls. Like for an untuned car that has a cam and a blower and a bunch of factory sensors that no longer exist, this car drives beautifully. So it kind of baffles me at points when people are like, oh, my car doesn't idle right, it stalls, it does this, it does that. And you know, here I am with no tuning and everything is just fine. Well, we're doing pretty good here. I'm just gonna give get to where I'm going to the shop because, like I said, the brake pedal seems to be working fine. Maybe just the sensor in the master is finally deciding to kick the bucket. Well, I caught up with my neighbor here and talked to him about his CTSV, which sounds like it's making crazy, crazy power. I think his 60 to 130 was 5.36 seconds or something nuts he just showed me on his draggy. So again, some people chase power, some people chase, well, low or whatever it might be that they're after. So I got my LMR delivery that I needed here, and let's go ahead and check that master cylinder reservoir. That light actually went out after, and driving a little bit more spiritedly. I don't know if it maybe just knocked that stock sensor loose or what, but I see fluid in there. So we're good. We're in between the min and the max. Everything else seems to be good underneath here. It's amazing, guys, like this car, just the way, there's something about the way it smells. And I know Gary from Castle Custom says this a lot, but like this car has a very unique fuel mixed with its like natural fox body scent that whenever I get a whiff of it, it literally takes me right back to 2003, 2004 when I first put the car together and had its first iteration with the first S-Trim that was on the car. This car has gone through so many suspension iterations over the years. Everything from like stock cut coils to aftermarket cut coils to racecraft drop spindles to customable adjustable rear spring perches, which I still argue I was one of the first to do. Coilover setups. The only thing that's never really been on this car is in fact air. It's always been sort of the static, low driving Fox body. So far so good. Made it all the way out to the shop, and as I said, beautiful Texas day out here today. And now it's just a matter of getting in. I'm sure the battery should have plenty of charge now. So one nice thing about this car is its actual drivability. As I mentioned, it's still on a factory computer, despite not having any of the nitty-gritty sensors hooked up and being supercharged with a cam and all those other things. This car drives and behaves absolutely beautifully. The biggest challenge is, in fact, just driving it and making sure that you're careful. All right, there was a couple little things on the road and I could hear them just go tink off the exhaust, and a couple little humps in the road where, of course, the one exhaust flange was catching and scraping, making a little bit of noise, probably throwing some sparks. But that's reality, guys. Gonna close up the shop here, get back in the car, and make our way home. So train tracks are a challenge, such as these, so we'll let this gentleman go by first. Couple scrapes and we're free. That was a big one. That's probably the biggest hit of the drive right there. Shit always happens close to home. It's like you get too confident with your surroundings and then you end up hitting shit. Well, there we go. 20-mile round trip. Stopped for fuel, went to the commercial shop, picked up some packages, enjoyed the weather, stopped for a couple photo ops. Car did everything that it should. No stalling, no overheating, no any of that stuff. The biggest hurdle of the experience of this car is just making sure that you're not scraping the exhaust or you're hitting something that you don't want to hit because the car is so low to the ground. So I know I probably don't give this car enough credit, and I know I say you don't want to own it, and I hold by that statement. I know a lot of people think that this car looks great, sounds great, and does all the things. There's just too many infamous touches at this point. And let's say beta testing, prototyping, like, am I okay driving the car for a significant amount of distance? Absolutely. You know, Mustangs across America, all that type of stuff. But I know what I've done and I know where it is, at least for the most part, because as time goes by, sometimes I'm a little forgetful of what I've done. And then after a while, it's like, why the hell did I do that? But then you remember, you were in a time crunch, you were trying to get to a car show, you were trying to do something, and it all comes back to you. But love the car, lots of memories in it. I don't know if one day maybe I would part ways, who knows. I have thought about parting ways with a couple projects because I just have too many. But we'll see what the future holds there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the ultimate driving experience of probably the world's lowest static fox body. I could be wrong with that. I know there's that red notch that's actually not too far from me. It's an LS swap car. I believe he's on QA1 as well, and he's pretty damn low. So I think he'd probably be my biggest competition at this point. But with that said, you sure don't see that many. And the fact that this car is driving around on that ride height, which is actually lower than this car, which is completely aired out, and I cannot drive like this, that's it's a pretty big ordeal. So for any of you guys that ride around low or like the low life or any of that stuff, you're going to understand 100% where I'm coming from with that. But there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you here next time on the Infamous Project.